All right. Call hello Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors and salutations to the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone. Much respect to you brothers out there preaching the word with truth and sincerity. This your brother Kalak Hart of GMS Northwest coming back at you with another video. Yeah, a lot is going on in the financial, economic world in the past couple of days. I'm gonna try to shine a little bit of light on it. From speaking as a man, what I see, many of brothers are doing videos and giving their input and opinions on it, and linking it to the scriptures. As there's nothing new under the sun, right? Now, as of yesterday, those tariffs went into effect, and the markets have crashed. They're still crashing. The economic strain, the financial strain that's going to be on the American people, is going to hurt them, and like I was saying before, there's nothing new under the sun. The things of the past will be the same things you see today. But this was very interesting. We can start here. Trump tariffs are so far reaching. They include several remote uninhabited islands. The global tariff Trump announced this week include remote territories like Heard and McDonald Island in the Indian Ocean, and they don't actually have human population. Here's what we know about them. So Trump, being the bully that he is, that's in the White House, he's placed tariffs on the whole world. Taxing the whole, room of existence, so to speak. Which I believe in Matthew the 2nd chapter. Herod was trying to do that, or Herod was taxing everybody in the region, everybody, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, being the bully that he is, he's putting the tax on penguins. It says the Trump administration, a long list of nations targeted by forthcoming U.S. tariffs, includes several territories so remote that they don't even have permanent human residents. On Wednesday, President Trump announced a baseline 10% tariffs on all goods imported to the U.S. and steeper reciprocal tariffs on dozens of its trading partners. The amount ranged from 49% for Cambodia to 34% in China and 20% in the European Union. The two set of tariffs, which are due to take effect on Saturday and Wednesday, respectively, have rattled markets at home and abroad, prompting talk to retaliation from various countries and threatens to ignite a global trade war. A global trade war, and that's what you said today, because I believe China, if I'm not mistaken, they just did a retaliate tariff. Or yeah, they retaliate. I don't know, let me see something. Slovakia. Yeah, here we go. Trade war escalates as China hits back with 34% tariffs on all goods, U.S. goods. So, they're going tit for tat, which is causing a global trade war. Now, like I was saying, things from the past, right? Let's look at this right here. Or better yet. So there was a tariff act in 1930 that worsened the Great Depression. It says the Tariff Act of 1930, as known as the Smoot-Hawley Act, was a protectionist trade measure signed into law in the United States by President Herbert Hoover in June of 1930, named after his chief congressional sponsor, Senator Reed Smoot and Representative Willie C. Hawley. That raised tariffs over 20,000 imported goods in effect to shield American industries from foreign competition during the onset of the Great Depression, which had started in October in 1929. Excluding duty-free imports, the tariffs imposed by the act raised the existing imports duties by an average of 20% to the third highest level in the U.S. after the tariffs imposed on the world by Donald Trump in 2025. So the same thing is happening now. This is going to cause a depression, a Great Depression, which is going to lead to a recession. When a recession leading to a depression, going to a destruction. I did a video on that not long ago, but listen to this right here.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the, anyone? The Great Depression, passed the, anyone? The tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which, anyone raised or lowered? Raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate over this. Anyone know what this is, class? Anyone? Anyone seen this before? The Laffer curve. Anyone know what this says? It says that at this point on the revenue curve, you will get exactly the same amount of revenue as at this point. This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
And there you have it. I mean, it's pretty cut dry. This is same type of reach they're trying to do, to combat and make America great again. But it's all going to backfire because these nations, they're fed up with America. America is not the power seat anymore. These countries are, they're gearing up. Let the weak say I'm strong. Hold on, let me see something. Well, yeah, you can use this for the war that's being prepared. But yeah, let me just go here real quick. This is Joel 3 and verse 9. Proclaim me, Salakia. Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war and wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of the war draw near. Let them come. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what these other countries are doing, i.e. China, Iran, India, North Korea, Russia. They were once weaker than the United States, and now they're on an even playing field with them, and these other nations are not backing down. If you want to slap tariffs on us, we're going to slap tariffs on you, and vice versa. But look at this national debt today, and this was from Wednesday. Today is Friday, so it's going up a little bit. But 36,217 billion 368,589,378 dollars, dollars. hundreds, whatever. That's 106,114 to every single person in America. So the debt is continuing to go up, You got these tariffs imposing on everything. So like, I was looking for something. You also got this right here. Larry Fink says Bitcoin could replace the dollar as the world reserve currency because of national debt. So Bitcoin can replace the dollar, and they purposely trying to crash the dollar with all of these tariffs and stuff. They know it's not going to work, you know. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink warns that America's rising national debt could threaten the dollar status as the world reserve currency, potentially leading to decentralized assets like Bitcoin taking its place. He and Bridgewater Ray Dalio cautioned that if the U.S. fails to manage its debt, global confidence in U.S. treasuries may collapse, triggering economic instability and a shift towards alternative financial systems. It says, with America national debt sitting comfortably over 36 trillion, Mark BlackRock CEO later warned under the burden could one day be the reason the dollar is dethroned as the reserve currency of the world. And we know that, what it leads to. It leads to that MOTB, that tracking system, that grapho, it leads to that, the mark of the beast. So everything needs to be digital. Remember, we're in the fourth industrial revolution, merging man with machine. So all roads lead to the MOTB. He argues that decentralization, current currencies like Bitcoin could replace the dollar as a worldwide organization, lose faith in international currencies, and seek an independent solution. Fink explained his theory in a 2025 letter to shareholders, writing, "The U.S. has benefited from the dollar serving as the world reserve currency for the decades, but that's not guaranteed to last forever. The national debt was growing 3 times in the pace of the GDP since Times Square debt clock started ticking in 1989. This year, interest payments will surpass $952 billion, exceeding defense spending. By 2030, mandatory government spending and debt service will consume all federal revenue, creating a permanent deficit. This place is cooked. Let's get a scripture. This place is cooked. As a matter of fact, let's get a scripture first and then we can come back. Let's get Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, Yahweh, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reaches into heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So this place is cooked. It's been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. The Lord has made this place, build it up like Pharaoh. The heart of Pharaoh is here. And the heart of Pharaoh is hardened. And he's angry and he's upset and he wants this place to be glorious, because Pharaoh is a businessman. Nero Caesar is a businessman. So he's on a business-like mindset about this country, Let's get that chat GPT. It says, I wrote this question in the Depression of 1929, was tariffs the reason? says tariffs were one of the contributing factors to the Great Depression of 1929, but they were not the sole or main cause. The depression was the result of combinations of several economic problems that built up during the 1920s. Here's the tariff played a role and how they fit into the bigger picture. It says the role of tariffs. Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act in 1930, U.S. law raised tariffs on thousands of imported goods. The goal was to protect American farmers and manufacturing from foreign competition. However, it backfired. Other countries retaliated with their own tariffs, which led to a collapse of international trade. What you see now, as the global trade shrank, so did global economic activity, worsening the depression. Other major causes of the depression: stock market crashes. You see that day in and day out. It's crashing right now. Bank failures. You see thousands of banks wiping out savings and reducing credit. You've seen that over the years. Overproduction in industries and farm produce more than they could be sold, leading to falling prices and layoffs, or it being destroyed. Unequal wealth distributes. Most of the wealth was concentrated among the rich, limiting consumer spending. Lack of regulation, speculation in the market, in the stock market, and the risky banking practices were unchecked. It says summary: terrorists like Smoot-Hawley made the depression worse, especially globally, but they were not the root cause. The depression was primarily driven by deep-seated structural problems in the economic and financial system. Hey, we see the housing market. We see the inflation. This is smooth cut dry. Smooth cut dry. Let's see what else I got. Um, I think that's it for that. But it's just something quick to keep your eye out on. We'll see what happens. They said they got a plan to to boost the economy because of this. They're taking a hit right now because it's gonna work itself out. When it happens. So we'll see. Keep your eyes peeled, and hope to see you on the next video, Lord.